Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back again for one of the first full ones that we're going to be getting through. Full pod. We're getting into it. Why not? People seem to be loving me talking about sport for absolutely no reason, even though I think all my takes are very biased and make no sense. But nonetheless, we're here. So thanks for joining. Obviously, there's been a lot going on in the sports world the last couple of weeks. NFL season, it's peaking. We're in the run. We're in the run now. We're getting close to being big time playoff games going on, and a lot of games having a lot of meaning, a lot of surprises as well coming through at the halfway point, just past the halfway point now with week 10 just having finished. NBA season's a couple weeks in now. Everyone's played about 10 or 12 games there and really starting to kick off. There's obviously a lot of other sport to talk about from around the world outside of the States. Obviously, the Ashes cricket starts in about a week's time now, which is very exciting. A bit to talk about there as well. And the AFL releasing their fixtures. So another few key points to get stuck into there. So yeah, just a lot of surprises all round. But I guess we'll dive in talking about the last week of the NFL, week 10, and sort of what we saw in that particular round of football. Now, started off with a stinker, absolute stinker. That let me just chill out here. That Thursday night game, the AFC West matchup, Broncos Raiders, was disgusting. That was a gross game, and it didn't get much better. A lot of the primetime slot games were absolutely fucking terrible to watch. The Eagles and the Packers also terrible to watch. Like a spectator. Obviously, as a fan, you would enjoy it, but just like a general spectator, very ordinary, very ordinary to try and watch that one. And the Chargers Steelers was the Sunday night football game, another absolute snoozer to watch. It was just a week where offenses really didn't do much in those kind of slots. The only offenses that did cook were in like the 1 p.m. slot, really. Like we saw, or even earlier, we saw Indiana play the second last international game over in Berlin, and Jonathan Taylor just puts up like 240 and three tuds, like unbelievable numbers from him. He was just outrageous. If we're looking at, if you're just looking at how everything has gone so far this season, he is your MVP. If you stop the season right now this week, Jonathan Taylor is your MVP. I guarantee you that. That has to be the case. It has to be Jonathan Taylor who would be the MVP in this particular case. He has been absolutely tearing it up. He's got 3 hat-trick games, I think, with 3 touchdowns, maybe 4 at this point. He's just winning games by himself, really, for the Indianapolis Colts, and they're 8-1. Or 8-1? Yeah, 8-1. So, like, you factor all those things in, they are just absolutely flying, and it's really just been because of him. Are they 8-1? Are they 8-2? Someone correct me. I could be misremembering that. But he's your MVP right now. There hasn't really been a standout at the quarterback position as of yet. Obviously, my man Drake May's been cooking a little bit, but there hasn't really been a set like a dominating figure outside of probably Drake May and Matthew Stafford's up there. Of course, he had another great game this week in that divisional matchup against the Niners. But it's like you can't look past Jonathan Taylor here. The last time we saw an MVP come from the running back position was Adrian Peterson, I think, about 12 years ago. I think it was 2013 or 2012. And he, to this point through week 10, didn't have as many scrimmage yards as what Jonathan Taylor does. Didn't have as many touchdowns, and nowhere near as many touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor has 17 touchdowns on the year. 17 touchdowns. Are you for real? That's unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. 17. At this point, Adrian Peterson, I think, had 7, if my research is correct there. So he's gonna break the record for touchdowns scored by a running back in a season, like over like total touchdowns by a running back in a season. He's been absolutely flying. I think he's at about 6-1 or 7-1 to win MVP at this point. He should be equal favorites really with the quarterbacks, but I think the quarterbacks do get a bit of an edge just because it is a quarterback's award. So like we're not overly upset, I don't think, with those odds. And obviously my man Drake May is leading the charge. Other key points through week 10, the Jets can play special teams, and that's about it. They had those two. They had 2 touchdowns to start the game with a 99-yard kickoff return, and then I think it was like a 70-yard punt return for a touchdown as well. So 2 return touchdowns on special teams, and they'd only had, I think, maybe like 40 total yards of offense. up until that point, and they had negative passing yards. They might have had, no, they might have negative yards to that point. Yes, that's right. Yeah, negative yards to that point when they'd scored two touchdowns. It was 14-0, and they had negative yards on the field, which is outrageous. They get over the Browns, big deal. Browns aren't great. Myles Garrett is doing his thing. Of course, he's been tearing it up. He continues. He's definitely a defensive player of the year favorite now, pretty comfortably. He should get it from here. Micah Parsons is up there in the odds. I don't think he's up there in the performance. I think a little bit of hype, possibly helping, possibly helping that a little bit, getting him up there in the odds to win defensive player of the year. Miles Garrett's probably just going to walk it in really from here. He just has to maintain a couple of things that he's been doing. But yeah, like the Jets would, that was one point I wanted to talk about, the fact that they had two scores on the board with having negative total offensive yards. They stink, man. They stink. They're so bad. Like, yes, they get the win. They've got two wins of the year now. Good on you, but you're not going to get more than four. You might not even get to three. You might not win it again for the rest of the year. I think they've got to make a change with Justin Fields. Like, they've either got to just play him exclusively as a running back, which they've kind of done the last couple of weeks, and really haven't let him pass a lot. And they played a little bit better with that. Or you just give it to Tyrod Taylor, and if you need to run any, because Tyrod Taylor can run still. Like, he's got good legs. He's just not as quick as what Justin Fields is. But then if you need, some particular trickery or whatever, you can put in Justin Fields and have that like legitimate running threat option. But Tyrod Taylor he's probably a better quarterback than what Justin Fields is going to be. So just give him a go. Who cares? Trade deadline's passed, so you can't do anything else there. So that's been a bit of a struggle. But like while we're in the AFC East, I guess like the Bills, what is going on with the Bills, man? They have just been up and down all year. They come off a really big win against the Chiefs, and what like the last couple of seasons have really showed with Josh Allen and this Bills team is when they have to go up against Patrick Mahomes during the regular season, it's all guns blazing. Everyone's up, everyone's about, everyone's getting stuck in, everyone's having an awesome time, everyone's really absolutely going hammer and tong, and they get that win. And I bet on them last week to win that game outright. God, like the Chiefs ended up about 1.5 point favorites. I took the Bills to win head to head. Didn't even take the points, just took them head to head to win. And they got over the line. They got it done because I know that's what's going to happen in the regular season. But then to roll up the next week in a divisional matchup and hardly fire a shot against a really average Dolphins side seems just seems ridiculous. I mean, their run defense. The Bills' run defense has been pretty average. We've seen they've had a few big games where they've given up a lot of rush yards, a lot of rush yards. Early in the season against the Ravens, they gave Derrick Henry, I think, had about 130 or 140. Now Achane gets that 150 odd. They've had a few other guys go for 100 plus on them already. I think when they played the Lions, I think Jimmy Gibbs had like 110. So like they give up a lot of rush yards. Their rush defense has not been their strong point, and the Dolphins really exposed that. Devon Achane had like 170 yards total and just kind of tore him up. And then offensively, like the Dolphins defense hasn't fired a shot all year. They really haven't done much at all. No, I can't think of many games where they've actually been super consistent as a defense across four quarters, and that was their best performance of the year defensively against a really good offense in the Bills. And it was giving me very similar vibes to the game that the Bills played against the Falcons just a couple of weeks ago. It might have been about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, on that Monday Night Football game where they went down to Atlanta. Bijan just absolutely torched them. And then offensively, they were just getting absolutely slammed, particularly in the trenches. A lot of pressure on Josh Allen. A little bit less pressure on Josh Allen in this game, but still a similar kind of thing. You're forcing him to have to try and get outside the pocket a little bit, which he can obviously do, and he can obviously make plays from those kind of positions. But just a bit of it's a defense that we hadn't really seen from the Dolphins this whole season, particularly. And I was quite impressed, really, with how they played. I was up watching that game. I had that on the split screen while I also was watching the Buccaneers and Patriots game, which now that win from the Patriots now shoots them to be 2 games clear of the Bills in the division. So all of a sudden now the Patriots have gone from being, okay, they could probably play playoffs here. They're probably going to be in the wild card, or they could do enough to get into the wild card to be winning the division, which is nuts to think that, just 5 or 6 years ago they were winning Super Bowls with Tom Brady. And all of a sudden now Drake May in his second year, Vrabel in his first year, You're 8-2, and you're about to roll into New York. Oh, no, no, we're hosting. Sorry, yeah, hosting a Thursday night football game against the Jets. So you're probably going to go 9-2. There's a 99% chance going to go 9-2 from here. After just having all that success, crazy scenes. Crazy scenes. Drake May's been unbelievable. He's just accurate. He looks good. There was a bit of pressure on him in that first half against the Todd Bowles defense of Tampa Bay. That's what you expected. You did expect them to sort of send the dogs a little bit, and they did create a lot of pressure for him early, hit him a lot early as well in the backfield. So got to him a fair bit. And then that second half, he just turned it around. A bit of a quicker release, wasn't holding the ball as long. I think it was a good strategic adjustment from the Patriots to be a little bit quicker with their plays, and obviously use that run game a lot as well. And you see Travion Henderson puts up, 3 touchdowns, 150, and just absolutely runs through them. Yeah, not a good loss to have if you're the Bucks. Not a good loss to have if you're the Bucks at all. But you're still missing, Evans, Godwin, Irving. So you're still missing a lot of your offensive threats, and you still put up 23 points. Tez Johnson was really good. He's going to be a really good sort of slot option when all those guys get back to sort of give them a little bit of depth as well. Like we know that they're going to be good in the trenches the majority of the time. They were pretty good. Patriots defense looks a little bit choppy against the pass. So I wasn't overly confident going into this game, to be honest. I was like, I don't know. Baker Mayfield might just put up like 350, 400 and just tear us apart. Wasn't overly excited about it. Obviously, in Tampa Bay favored by 3.5. But to see that big win, that's huge. And then rolling in tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football to go into, sorry, not to go into, to host the Jets. Like you couldn't really have a better situation here if you are the Patriots. Not many other key points really coming out of last week necessarily. The NFC West is stacked. They dominated that 4 p.m. slot last week, and you just saw, wow, there's some good teams in here. You obviously had two divisional games, and they're actually flipping around this week, so they're all playing each other again, just in a different format this week. But to see the Rams doing what they're doing on offense, it's given this Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford combo, man. I'm just having flashbacks to Megatron. I didn't get to watch a lot of Megatron live, I'll be honest. But I'm watching this like goal line, like you're 1 yard out. Could just run the ball in with Kyron Williams. Nah, it's one-on-one on the outside. Adams, go hit. Devontae, go hit a fade. Matty Staff's just going to launch it on your head. Big time Megatron vibes. It's just goal line fade stuff. It's just feed Devontae Adams as much as you can in the red zone, and Puka Nacua is just going to work it all the way up. It's like they look good. They could be the best offense in the league. I'd say that with relative confidence. I reckon they're the best offense in the league. When they need to lean on the run game, the combination of Williams and Corum's been working very well. So they could very easily lean on the run game and still win games pretty comfortably. But Stafford is in arguably some of the best touch he's ever been in. Whatever he was doing in that cryo tank thing in the preseason, man, damn, get me one of those things ASAP. Don't know what that guy was doing in there, but he's been torching it, man. He's been unreal. So accurate. He's always been accurate, particularly since like his shoulder injuries and stuff. Like he's been very accurate since then, and in his time in LA, he's launching it when he needs to launch it. Puka Nacua is unbelievable. Devontae Adams has still got it. They've got plenty of depth outside of those guys. They're good, man. But the rest of the NFC West is still really good. Like the Niners, yeah, they lost. They lost by 16. But like again, like you Brock Purdy's still off. He hasn't come back yet. I think he's back to practice this week. He's potentially going to play on Sunday against Arizona. He's potentially going to play against Arizona. But like you're still missing a couple of guys. You're missing a lot of your receivers still. Your defense is really banged up. You got no Warner. You got no Bosa. Like you're missing a lot of your stars. Not surprised that they sort of did lose that game, but a little bit surprised that they're able to still hold up with the NFC West the best as well as they are. They're sort of keeping it really competitive. It's going to be a really tough division. So to see them sort of just stick around, that's all you really need to do. If you're the 49ers, I think for the next couple of weeks, see what can happen. Do you put Brock Purdy back in? Or do you just let Mac Jones run with it? I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm a Patriots fan. I thought Mac Jones was okay until he wasn't. So maybe If you're Shanahan, maybe you're thinking like, we saw that he had a lot of promise, but then once he gets figured out, it's not so good. And he's starting to show a little bit of that now. Like it's teams are starting to figure him out, particularly in division. This is the second time that the Rams have gone up against him with the 49ers offense, and they made it very tough for him. Made it very tough for him. So interested to see what happens there. And Seattle are cooking, man. Seattle are absolutely flying. They are one of the best teams in the NFC. I think you can say that with confidence now. I wasn't overly convinced a few weeks ago. They had a relatively easy schedule. They had that close loss to the Bucks at home, and since then they've just been on top and flying. Sam Darnold, goat. Sam Darnold's like, man, that guy can ball. Oh, I'm so sad that he wasted his first couple of years with the Jets. And same goes with like Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. Man, these guys are good. Like I'm just waiting now. Like when is Zach Wilson going to come out and just all of a sudden become a superstar? For real, tell me what's going on there. Because like there's just something about guys that start in really, really, really bad situations and really bad franchises, and then they leave. They play with a good offensive coordinator who's good with quarterbacks, or a good head coach that's good with quarterbacks. They become a superstar, and then they continue on beyond that, and they're still a superstar. Like Baker Mayfield had Liam Cohen as his OC. Awesome. Liam Cohen leaves. He's still tearing it up. He's still launching it since then. And he spent some time with Sean McVay too over in LA. Don't forget that before he got Liam Cohen in Tampa Bay. Then Sam Darnold goes to Carolina, doesn't do much there. Goes to. Did he go to the Rams as well? Where did Sam Darnold go? No, he went to the 49ers. So he went to the 49ers. He had Kyle Shanahan there, a really good offensive crew in general. Then jumps over to Minnesota. Now he's got KOC. He's still flying. And now he's still carrying that over into Seattle now this year. So Seattle are a team, man. Their defense is scary. They don't have a lot of big name guys on defense. Like they've got a lot of like high picks that they've got on defense, but not a lot of like big name guys. They're scary good, man. They're tearing people up. That like Demarcus Lawrence last week, 2 touchdowns. What? That's crazy. Haven't seen that in forever. Nuts. So yeah, big. It was a big week, week 10. That's my week 10 review. But more importantly, we're moving into week 11. All right, it's a good week. It's a really good week. There's a lot of really good things on the schedule. We're being like there's a lot of good games, a lot of divisional games again, which I'm happy with. I'm happy with divisional games. Makes for good football most of the time, and I'm getting up super early in the morning to watch them over here. So um, yeah, I mean this week's probably going to make or break a couple of divisions, to be honest, because it's the last time that a few teams are going to match up. It's also going to give teams like the NFC West again all play each other this week. So you've got Seattle going into the Rams, and you've got the 49ers going into Arizona. All of a sudden now, like whoever wins really between the Seattle and LA game, if whoever wins that game, and then if the 49ers manage to lose, all of a sudden they get the winner of the Seattle and LA gets a little bit of a jump. If it remains close, it's probably going to remain close. Like let's be honest, it's just going to be another really big week where all teams pretty much have to win. Arizona aren't completely out of it, really, not completely done. They've been pretty good. Other big ones I think to watch out for this week's definitely going to be the matchup between the Broncos and the Chiefs in Denver. This is one where you'll have a look at it and you go, okay, Chiefs are favored. They're coming off the bye. Andy Reid's really good off a bye. We know this. Something's telling me Denver get it done. Something is telling me Denver get this done. There's just I can't even describe it to you. It's a feeling in my loins that they're going to come out and get this done. There's just something about the way their defense has been cooking the last couple of weeks. Outside of really that Giants game, they've just been flying around. And then offensively, I think Bo Nix is starting to figure it out a little bit more. He's getting really good help from the run game now. Didn't have a lot of help from the run game last year very much. But now I feel like Peyton's using the run game a little bit better, getting him into play action a bit more. Their running backs have been really good. Both of them, both Dobbins and Harvey, have been really good. So like they're getting plenty more assistance from that run game, which I think helps. I think it helps against the Chiefs as well to have a good mix. You can't just let the secondary sit back. and just protect space on the outside. You can sort of gut them through the middle and try and create a bit more space that way. There's just something about this game where I'm like, I just reckon the Broncos can do it. I think the Chiefs are favored by 4.5. I'd be giving the Broncos 4 points there. I'd take the 4 points for the Broncos 100%. I'd almost take them to win outright. With divisional matchup, probably going to be close. I don't know, man. Some telling me the Broncos just win this game. Some telling me the Broncos win this game. Um, but yeah, there's also like a lot of injuries that I think are going to become a little bit of an issue now. Just in general, like there's not really anyone in particular, but just in general, just got to be wary. This is the big stretch. Like the next kind of like 3 or 4 games is arguably going to be bigger for most teams than what the last 3 or 4 games is going to be, purely because if you can set yourself up really well here, you can almost take the foot off to an extent, maybe look to rest guys a little bit here and there, play around with game plans a little bit in those last few weeks without having to stress too much about having to win. Now, certain situations you're going to be allowed to do that. Certain situations, obviously, not very much. If you go across division to division, the Colts now can probably start to chill a little bit. The Jags aren't going to catch them. The Texans aren't going to catch them. Like you can probably start to relax just that little bit. Obviously, still feed Jonathan Taylor so that he wins MVP, but you don't need to do anything too crazy in there. And then if you're looking through like every other division, there's going to be opportunities where teams are going to have the next few weeks to really like give themselves a good position if they can get up and get some wins done. So I think it's like, yeah, there's a lot to keep an eye on this week. Um, what else is there to go through from this week? I mean, there's a few games I like from a gambling perspective, right? There's a few games I like. Uh, I'm a big fan, like a Thursday night football game. There've been stinkers lately. I think this is going to be another stinker, but not in the low scoring aspect. I like the Patriots, obviously, to win head to head, but I'm going to probably take them. I've got a little bit of a leaner here that I'm going, a little bit of a teaser leaner. Give me the Patriots minus 3.5. I do like that bet. I think you could take 2.5 and give them the field goal, but 3.5 a little bit better value. Baltimore to win against the Browns, just head to head, just to win there. They should beat them pretty comfortably, but obviously you don't know with that defense in particular from Cleveland. Like they could cause a little bit of concern and keep it a little bit low scoring, possibly. Give me the Broncos +9 just to be conservative. I did consider it +7.5, but 9.5 is going to do there. And then Seattle will give me a touchdown. Seattle +7 against the Rams. I think they can probably win that too in LA. Devontae Adams might be out. That could be a bit of a changer for them. Changes their game plans. Not a lot, obviously, because you've still got Puka Nacua you can rely on, but it does make a couple of little changes in there. There's not many other games really sort of worth discussing from a gambling perspective, really, but like you can have some big games. The Lions and Philly on the Sunday night football is going to be really big for how the NFC is going to shape up. Um, there's a chance that, both of those teams obviously going to win their division, but seeding wise, this is going to be a pretty big game. Obviously, the NFC West matchups, both on the 8 o'clock or the 4 o'clock slate, again, they're going to be pretty big to go ahead and watch. A couple of other ones that I think are going to be relatively important: the Chargers and Jacksonville. That's going to be big for potentially looking for your wildcard seedings between those two. Chargers got to go all the way out to Jacksonville. Who knows? Carolina at Atlanta, big for the NFC South. Not really for a wild card spot. Like neither of these teams are probably going to be good enough to play in the wild card, but just good for the seedings in general within the NFC South. I mean, Carolina realistically aren't so far off. They're 5-5. Yeah, 5-5. So they're as sitting at 500. They could possibly they're going to struggle to get to 10, but they could maybe get to 8-9 wins and maybe scrape in. Same goes with Atlanta. The Giants getting rid of Daboll. Oh, I forgot about the Giants. Giants fire. Coach Daboll after just a really rough couple of weeks. Really rough couple of weeks. They're choking leads. 4 out of their 7 losses, 4 out of 7 of their losses, I think, have come from like choking really bad leads. They got the big win against Philly. That was about it. Jackson Dart's been really good. Scatterboo's obviously out, which doesn't help offensively, but Daboll cops it. Daboll cops it. I think it was a bit rough to cut him. Personally, I think a little bit rough to cut him. Yeah, it wasn't his fault to get rid of Saquon. That obviously hurt. And prioritized Daniel Jones. He had a good year with Daniel Jones, nonetheless. So I feel, a little bit unlucky for the guy. I don't think he deserved to get cut necessarily. But there's jobs openings available. There's job openings available. Now, not so much in the NFL, but in the college game, there is a lot of spots open in the college game. Saw him with a Penn State hoodie on yesterday. He made a reference to it that his kids go to Penn State. Obviously, James Franklin's just been fired from there. That could be one. That could be one. I'd be happy to see that. I'd watch that 100%. You got LSU open. I don't think he'll go to LSU, but the job's open. Who else are you going to have open? Florida is going to be open. Ole Miss potentially if Lane Kiffin decides to move. So like there's going to be options for him if he wants to go down to the college football game, which is where he started. I can't remember where he was coaching, but he was coaching down there at some point. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the week of football really coming up. There's been a couple of really good points like over the last few weeks, and I think it's just going to get better. If we're having a couple of predictions, I'm gonna say that Jonathan Taylor does win MVP from this stage, but obviously we'll keep an eye on that and see what's going on. Moving into the NBA, 2 weeks in, 3 weeks into the NBA now. Wow, we're flying. We are flying. There's a few teams that are absolutely cooking behind the scenes and doing plenty of good things. Like this has been a really hot start, I think, from as far as the NBA season looks. Like parity, big thing that Adam Silver's been trying to preach has been all about parity in the league and making things equal and giving everyone equal opportunity to win games. He's done that. He's 100% done that because it's every game could really go either way. Obviously, you're getting injuries and stuff starting to pop up, but yeah, big fan. I'm a big fan. There's not really like an out and out team that's going to win in the Eastern Conference at this point. The West, obviously, you've got the Thunder being obviously a big clubhouse leader over there. The Rockets are up there still. The Spurs are up there still. Spurs coming off a loss today to the Warriors after Curry dropped like 50 or something crazy like that. I'll check the scores after this, but he went nuts. But Detroit's starting to really work as well over in the East. Right, they're one of the key points to sort of discuss so far. Cade Cunningham, he stuck it out. He trusted that it was going to work if he stays in Detroit. Not that he was ever really going to leave, but like his first couple of years were very rough. Very rough. They're one of the worst teams ever in the history of basketball just 2 years ago. They're on a 7-game win streak. They're playing hot. He's playing hot. He's almost averaging a triple-double at this point. He's been absolutely flying. He dropped a 40 piece the other day. They're very good defensively. A couple of injuries today. It was the second leg of a back-to-back, so a few guys sat. But defensively, they've been really good. And I think defense is going to win. Obviously, defense wins championships, like no shit. But defense is going to win a lot of games in the Eastern Conference, and then also particularly within their division. If you're going up against like the Bulls, if you can hold the Bulls, lowish, and be good enough defensively. They don't have a lot of offensive options, but if you can keep them relatively controlled, you're going to sweep them. You got the Cavs, the Pacers, obviously just a run and gun kind of team. Pacers a little bit similar. So like if you can play really good defense and you can shut those kind of teams down and make them alter the way that they're going to play, that's going to work really well in your favor. And I think that's going to be good for Detroit going forward. They're probably going to play in the playoffs again if we're way too early predictions. But they've been killing it, man. They've been killing it. I've been a big fan of the Pistons. Love watching them play. Magic is starting to get their fastball back. They very much struggled early. Their defense was god awful for a team that pride itself. A team that last year would pride itself on its defensive ability, keeping teams to like 80 points in a game and like just making games boring because they knew that they couldn't really score. To then just deciding, oh, we're going to get Desmond Main, and then no one's playing defense at all. No one's playing defense. We're just going to let teams put up like 120 on us. And their offense wasn't that good, so they can't catch up. So they struggled that first kind of like week or so. They're starting to get going a little bit now. Watched them today against the Knicks, and they were much better. Franz Wagner looking really good. Paolo Banchero did go down with an injury, which is unfortunate, but they've been really good. Been enjoying watching the Magic starting to get going now as well. What else has been really good? The Bulls have been good, obviously, as well over in the East. Sorry, staying in the East. The Bulls have been pretty good. Josh Giddey's been absolutely tearing it up. Tearing it up. He's been incredible. Just one of those guys that goes from like genuine role player to being the number one guy on the team. He's been incredible. He's been so good. Big fan of his stuff. I mean, they're like possibly going to start to fall off a little bit. They've just been really good to watch. so far. Who else have we had that's been pretty good? Let me think. Yeah, see, I try not to prepare too many notes. I try to just go off the cuff. Over in the West, obviously Wemby is doing his thing. Wemby's cooking. The Spurs are cooking. They're 8-3, I think, to this point. After today, they're cooking. Wemby's been really good. A few games there where I think teams are starting to figure him out a little bit, but he's an alien. He's 900 feet tall and he's a super freak athlete. He can do whatever he wants. You're not going to be able to stop him forever, but you're going to be able to stop him in times. So they've been good to watch. I think Stefan Castle's taken a huge leap. And he obviously was, rookie of the year. He's gone again and taken another big jump up. He's been outstanding. This team's really good, man. This team's really good. Stefan Castle, De'Aaron Fox, you got whenever Harper comes back, so the guard play is unreal. Wemby's obviously the big man. Sohan, Champagny are doing a really good job on the wings with Barnes as that veteran kind of presence. So it's a really good makeup of a team. I think the addition of Cornette on the bench is huge. Having that like extra big guy that can come on, help with the rebounding, take a bit of the body work off of Wemby. I think that's probably one of the biggest additions like for fit of the team in the whole off season, and you can sort of see it starting to really cook now as well. Other big things: Lakers are good, Clippers are not. So everyone was kind of expecting it, like the market was expecting it to go the other way and have the Clippers to be the best team in the Pacific Division. I wasn't big on them. I took them unders in my preseason pod. I wasn't really big on them at all. I was much bigger on the Lakers. I thought the Lakers are going to be fantastic. You got Luka. Luka's skinny. He's playing good. He's been balling out. He's been dropping 40 pieces. He's been getting, 30-point triple doubles. And that's without LeBron playing. Obviously, LeBron is older, but he's in his 40s, 41 or 42, whatever he is now. He's a dinosaur, but he's still good enough to be a really like a contributing factor, but he's not going to be the main factor, which I think was why Luka is going to be able to get them, 45, 50 wins potentially with the way he's been going. Austin Reeves has been really good in the support as well. So I think they're going to win the LA battle in general. And the Clippers are just old and injured, and I just don't like them, man. Like Bradley Beal's out for the season, so that didn't work well. That sucks. Not that he's much to miss. Not a big fan of his last couple of years in Phoenix. There, he fell off a little bit too. One thing that I think with Bradley Beal is it's very much like a big fish little pond situation. Like when he was in the Wizards, like he got that massive contract at Washington after the John Wall injury. Because he was like the only guy that could really do anything on that team. There wasn't really a lot of other options. He didn't really have a lot of help. And it was just, big fish, little pond. He was putting up 30 pieces, 35 points. He was just cooking on offense, but he was getting a lot of touches. His usage rate was through the roof. And now you see that when he goes to a team like Phoenix, where he had Booker and Durant to work with, nothing, didn't really give you anything. And then it's going to be exactly the same here now that he's in LA with the Clippers. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to see it. He's got better players around him. He's not really going to shine, and now he's out for the year anyway, so you're not going to see anything really. We know Leonard's going to miss a lot of games. Harden's going to be pretty consistent as far as playing games, but maybe not so much with the scoring side of things. A bit tricky. Yeah, I mean, staying in the Western Conference, Jokic is still probably the best player in the league. Probably the best player in the league, relatively comfortably as like an overall skills perspective at the minute. I think he's got Wemby covered as an overall skills kind of guy. He's just so good, man. Like he's averaging, what's he averaging at the minute? I don't have any stats open. I couldn't tell you, but he's cooking. I think he's probably averaging a triple double. He's been playmaking a lot more this year rather than scoring. He's letting other guys get involved. Christian Brown's averaging more points than he ever has. Murray hasn't started as shit as he normally does to this point. He's been playing pretty well. It's just been a pretty good start to the NBA season in general, and the Nuggets in particular have been great. Been a big fan of. I like watching the Nuggets play. They're a team that I'm excited to watch play when they games start at, you know, 3 p.m. over here, which I don't know what time that is in the US. You got East Coast viewers probably don't even watch them. But yeah, and I think the only other point I really want to talk about while we're in here today is just going to be talking all about the rookies, man. This rookie class, man. This rookie class is unreal. Cooper Flag was like obviously a number one guy, like superstar. Everyone wants to be Cooper Flag, and everyone wants him, and whatever. He's going to be such a good like all round player. Like you can just see it the way he's playing now. Like he was playing point guard the first few games, struggled a little bit. Obviously they fixed that a little bit in Dallas, but now he just looks a bit more confident. He's going to be. I don't want to. I don't want to say that he's going to be a LeBron-esque kind of guy. Not so much in his like stature. Let me rephrase. Cooper Flag is going to be a LeBron-esque player, but not so much in his like impact on the game as a whole and like his dominance of the game, but like play style specifically. Can score the ball really well when he needs to. Like he's a bit better inside than he is shooting the ball, similar to young LeBron. He's a pretty good defender, not a superstar defender, but he's a good enough defender. He's a very good, like selfless playmaker on offense. He can rebound pretty well. He can match up with a couple of different positions. He can play bigger. He can play smaller. So he's kind of got that similar all-round kind of LeBron James-ish kind of structure to him. And yeah, big fan of his. He's been great. Harper's been really good before he was injured. Big fan of his work. He's going to be a superstar. Con Canoople, love that guy. Love that guy. I'm a Charlotte fan. He's over in Charlotte. He is tearing it up, man. LaMelo's been out for a couple of games, and he's taken a lot of the scoring on with Bridges. But I don't like Bridges, and I like watching KK. That's for sure. Big fan of how Canoople's been playing. He's been superstar. Shoots really well. He's not just like a regular shooter for a white guy. Like he can also like do some stuff with the ball. Love watching him play. And then also while we're in Charlotte, Kalkbrenner as well is a pretty decent all round kind of big guy. Obviously, it wasn't like a high pick, wasn't a highly touted pick, but I like him. I like him nonetheless. The generator, VJ Edgecombe, bro, what the fuck? He's so good, man. This Philly team's been cooking, and has been initially it was because of him giving them that hot start. He was literally the generator to start on this year. Put up a couple of big games. He's been quiet the last couple of weeks, but like last couple of games, sorry, but he's still been absolutely flying around there. Big fan of his. He works really well with Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, like Embiid's getting going a bit more, so he's getting a bit more play call. But he's the VJ Edgecombe, massive fan of his work too. So like this, just like we thought it was going to be a very top heavy draft. It has been a little bit top heavy, but the guys early on have been like these first 2 weeks, man. They've been killing it, killing it. Been a really big fan of how these guys have been playing. Cedric Howard's been really good. Is he a rookie? I think he's a rookie in Memphis. I'm pretty sure he's a rookie. Um, Anyone else I've missed from like a let me get the rookie class up real quick. I don't think I've missed anyone from like a rookie class perspective, have I? That's been like really good. VJ, Cedric Coward. Oh, Derek Queen. Derek Queen, the Maryland guy, over in where's he in? New Orleans. Put up like 27, 6 and 6 today. He was good. He's had like some good moments, but he hasn't been like consistently really good. But he'll obviously get plenty of time on the court with this New Orleans team. So been a big fan of all these guys, really. There's not really anyone else that's sort of worth having a chat about, really, so far. But yeah, I'm liking it, man. Been a good NBA season. Been a good NBA season. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. That was really it. I just wanted to go through some NFL, have a look at what this week is going to look like. Bit of NBA. We're going to be back again probably tomorrow, I want to say. And we're going to talk about the Australian sport, about the stuff back home. All right. We've got the Ashes series starting up in a week's time, which is going to be really fun. So we're going to do a full preview of the Ashes series and see what's going on there. Some of the selection things, ideas, thoughts on the series, predictions for the series, etc. And then also going to talk about the AFL a little bit as well. They've just released their fixture for next year. Have a chat about the AFL, a couple of changes there from the teams and predictions and that kind of thing. So should be should be fun. Should be a fun one. So yeah, there we go. I've really got nothing else to go over today. So it's been fun. Gamble well for this week in the NFL. I'll post a few on the TikToks with a couple of picks that I'm going to go for. Obviously, I spoke about that teaser bet earlier before. I'll remind you now what it was. It was New England minus 3.5, Baltimore head to head, Denver plus 9.5, and Seattle plus 7.5. You can get that at 3-1. So it's nothing too crazy. It's just a good leaner to sort of get on to hopefully give you a good kickstart for the week. We lost last week just because of the Buffalo game. Everything else went well. It was just the Buffalo game that just didn't get us there. So yeah, that's it. We'll post some more, post a couple of touchdown picks and stuff as well before the Sunday slate gets on. And yeah, Enjoy.